What's up? What's up? You're muted, buddy. Can't hear you.
What's up, guys? Hello.
What's up, Torquies? How's it going? See a
Hey,
few of you
everyone.
in here.
What's up?
Hope
What's up?
everyone's having a great day, great evening wherever you are. How's it going, Vic?
Good, good, good. How are you? Matt, how are you doing today?
Not bad, not bad. It's
Okay,
a
cool.
beautiful day for an AMA.
Yes, sir. So, hi, everyone. Welcome to our second AMA. So, obviously, if you don't know me, product and community manager Victor here, and we are joined again by our founder Matt. Couple of quick ones before we begins here. The hats giveaway is going to end in around I think 18 minutes or 19 minutes from now on. So after the AMA, I will do an announcement of the winners, and then just DM me your address, and then I will ship the hats out ASAP. And I just want to give a quick shout out to the communities. We also hit 3K in Discord, so
Woo!
I'll be announcing something special at the end of the AMA. So make sure you know stay here. Over to you, Matt.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Thanks, Vic. So what's up, everyone? Thanks for joining today's AMA. And we have a very exciting one for you guys. So if you're in our Discord, you probably have seen the announcement that I just put out about us going live. So we're chatting to our elusive, well, actually not so elusive anymore, artists, but he's an incredible graphic artist who's worked on some of the biggest games around, from Spiderman, PS4 exclusives. He was the lead vehicle designer for Destruction All Stars by Lucid Games. He's designed some incredible work for automotive magazines, and most recently, is working on a very big current, well, one of the next gen games. So I'll leave it to him to kind of tell you more about. But everyone, I'm super excited to welcome Ian Galvin. What's up, Ian?
What's up, everybody? Nice to see you guys again.
You too. How's things?
It's good. I exist in Hong Kong time, so I'm here very alone. Everyone else in my neighborhood is asleep, but I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Where are you based? For
In the
anybody who doesn't know.
Midwest, I'm in Michigan, which is right in the heart of USA.
Beautiful. So everyone, if you're in the US, throw some flags in the chat, whether that's on Twitch. I don't know if you can do that on Twitch. I think you can, or on Discord. Throw
I'll
some
take
US
them. I'll
flags
take
there.
all of them.
You know what? Probably no one's probably awake right now. So
No,
so
not at
if you're
all.
if you're if you're not in the US and you want to support, throw some flags. That's all good. Um, So Ian, we've kept you hidden for a while, but you're now revealed to the community. We wanted to keep you a surprise, given your incredible history in design. So why don't you introduce yourself to everyone watching? And in the meantime, I will put some of your incredible work on screen so people can have a look.
Yeah, thank you. That's very kind of you. It's been a weird journey for me. I am a concept artist by trade. It's not what I went to school for, though. I went to school for industrial design in Detroit. It's called the College for Creative Studies. Um, when I was in high school, it was either College for Creative Studies or Art Center out in California, and I didn't have the bankroll to do it. So I went to my backyard and I thought I wanted to design cars, but design cars is actually really limiting. And so throughout my career, I've just been kind of slowly sidestepping into freelance to design what I really care about, which is like concept art for video games, movies. I just finished working on a Netflix series for this Japanese studio, which I'm super excited about. Um, but yeah, I've always liked flying motorcycles, things that don't really exist. And the downside of like actually having to produce something like as a product designer is just months and months of just going back and forth with R&D to like, is this tool going to work? Like who's in charge of production? Like all this boring shit that I didn't really care about. And so when I found video game design and like concept art in general, I was just hooked. So I've been doing that for about 8 years full time now. And I just, in terms of like our relationship, like I've just been putting work out there that I care about. And I'm lucky enough that I've gotten to the level where when an outside org is looking for, somebody to run their art project, they know where to find me.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. What a what a way to kind of get into it. And you guys are seeing this on screen right now. It's all the work Ian did on Spider-Man. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah. The concept art stuff, it's really weird how you build a network organically. I had nothing in my portfolio, and my favorite game as a kid was Jet Moto, which is a flying motorcycle game. And so I just designed like my own series of the vehicles. I put that out on the internet. Nobody really saw it. And then somebody on Kotaku, if anybody is as old as me, they remember Kotaku. It's still out there, but nobody really reads it anymore after Gawker went under. But they just posted my work. And like it got seen by like 3,000 people in a day, which was huge like 10 years ago. And that's what kicked off my first little like mobile game, which just got pirated to hell. We didn't make any money on it because somebody got the code in China, and then there was like 12,000 downloads in one day, and we got paid for like 6 of them.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
but that just kind of, that project right there, that was the Jet Moto one, and that just kind of started a snowball. And so every project I put that out there after it was done, and somebody else would see something different about it. Like, I really liked, the branding that you did. Like, we've got a vehicle project, we'd love to have you on. That's how things started with Lucid. They saw that Misfit Racer series, and they were like, we have a modern destruction derby game coming out for Sony on PlayStation. We'd love to have you on. And I worked for them for, I think, 3 years, just designing vehicles that are meant to be destroyed. That tank project you have on right now is also something that they were like super keen on because it's like military, competitive racing. Like, I really just like bringing together weird elements that shouldn't really make sense together. But like when you see it all together, like after I put, my thumbprint on it, like people step back and like, oh, I hadn't thought about it that way.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about misfit racers there, and I think I'll probably allude to it in a little bit because that's exactly how I reached out to you in the first place, and kind of how I saw your work. So, what about Destiny 2? What can you tell us about these beautiful vehicles here?
I mean, I've also like I'm a little bit older than most concept artists, and like what I've tried to do is create a niche for myself where I bring together kind of weird elements that have like either a nostalgic kick or a functionality understanding because my background is in product design. So like I have an understanding of how things have to look if you want the viewer to think that it's like, oh yeah, I could see that being made, or even if it's in the future, like, wow, I can't believe somebody still likes wood paneling on their flying motorcycle, but like, how do you do that and not make it look cheesy? It's like a really, really fine line to find that that little tweak that is going to make something look like you want to put it on a t-shirt or a hat or in a movie, like a major motion picture. And like all those really tiny details really matter at the end of the day. And so, Destiny 2 was just an outcropping of what project did they see? I think they saw the van project, which was earlier on, that 3D like racing van that I put together. And I think that they had this project specifically, which is a nostalgia kick. Yeah. I grew up with VHS tapes, Matt, I know I'm a lot older than you are, so I don't know if you've ever actually seen one, but
Yeah, we had VHS.
okay. Well, they came in these boxes, and I always loved the graphic design, so I threw that on there because that van is shaped like a VHS tape. And they said, we have a van project coming up. We'd love to see what you can do. And that was the first of 12 projects I did with Bungie on Destiny.
Yeah, I mean, these are incredible. They're so much fun to look at. What else do we have here? Oh yeah, some weapon design I see.
Yeah, and the really cool thing, me and my buddies, when quarantine started, we needed something to like keep ourselves from going insane. So every Wednesday night, including last night, which is why I'm a little tired today, we play video games together. We all hop on Xbox Live, and Destiny 2 was like our game. And so I was like working on the game that we were all playing, which is fucking insane because it's like, watching your favorite team and they're wearing the jersey you designed.
That's so cool.
Um, and so we started to move away from Destiny, which is like, it's fine. I like working on the game still, but like we're not playing it anymore, and so I kind of lost that, and I felt a little, down about that. But me and my crew are Halo till we die, and Halo Infinity just came out, and right around the end of last year when we started talking, 343 hit me up, and I am now a full-time designer on Halo, and that is what we were all playing. So it's like, I don't know how I lucked into this, but it's
Yeah.
a sweet deal.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's what I was trying not to say. But just to kind of say to you, Ian, we really appreciate all the work you've done, and we're all so stoked for you that you've landed this gig. Like my first console was an Xbox, and I've played Halo all the way through, and currently
Mhm.
playing Halo Infinite. And oh, my
Mhm.
goodness, it's such a beautiful and such a great game. So yeah, huge congratulations on that gig as well.
Yeah, and thank you for being so understanding because, like, we have been, I mean, we have been moving full steam ahead on this project for almost 3 months now, and it has been a serious, like, labor of love, but it's taken a lot of hours, and I appreciate you guys being flexible. So that's been awesome.
No, definitely, definitely. No, super exciting stuff. So, yeah, here's some magazine stuff. Is that, if I'm not wrong?
Yeah, this was actually for a competition for Pagnol, which is like a really great motorsport supplier. They make handmade bags. So that tail bag and that backpack the character are holding are both some of their pieces that they make. And the idea was like, you know, design their next branding campaign. And so this was my entry to the competition, which I won, and I got each of those bags, which is what I use on my motorcycle now. Um, so it was just a great way to get some pretty high end luggage for my motorcycle.
That's so cool. Yeah, I saw some photos of you with your knee down at a circuit. What
Hmm.
was it? Just before Christmas or around Christmas?
Yeah, yeah. I think I threw that in our Flex page for the Discord.
You did.
Um,
Um,
yeah, motorcycles have always been a huge source of inspiration for me. That last image you had up was actually for Bloomberg Business Week when Harley announced that they were going electric for their next bike, and like so, I just threw up, kind of an Akira homage, which I'm sure a lot of people, in our space recognize because it's like one of the most duplicated images from that movie, and it just felt right to like see Harley being pulled into the future, whether it's like by its own accord or kicking and screaming. So that was kind of the story happening at the time. So I just wanted to get that kind of contrast with this older rider and this like kind of sci-fi retro vehicle in front of him.
yeah, it's so cool. Yeah, I've always loved Harleys, and this is such a. I mean, the image is iconic, the art is amazing, and yeah, no, that's so cool.
Appreciate it.
Couple more here. Some of your cars that you've designed.
Yeah,
These
I
are
mean,
cool.
I was
Volvo.
so excited when you reached out initially, just because like the whole idea of a motorsport based generative avatar is so unique, and I mean you can see from the work. I love motorsport stuff. I love vehicles of all types, but like especially when you line up against other people and just see who's going to make it around the track quicker. I just think that
Yeah.
that's like so inherently an exciting thing to so many people. And I think what you guys are putting together, like allowing people to step into that space and feel like, this is my image that like represents like that passion for like motorsport and just like competition in general is awesome.
Yeah, no, it's super exciting, and I think the more we reveal, the more kind of obvious how everything fits together in all
Hmm.
the different groups that we have, like how the artwork fits together from street to motorsport
Hmm.
to futuristic.
Hmm.
It's all such cool iterations of one another. And so there's a question, and actually this is something that I was gonna kind of come on to, but how we got in touch. I kind of mentioned it before, so this is a bit of a story, I guess. But yeah, back in September, October, it was October, wasn't it?
Hmm.
I actually, prior to that, I searched, far and wide across the great interwebs, and I came across the Misfit Racers, and I'll just toss that up on screen now. And so I looked at these and I thought, man, these would be cool as NFTs. And I was like, these and it's these and like the art themselves. I was like, these are incredible. Um, so I shot you an email, seeing if you'd like to chat about, potentially working together on a generative avatar project.
Mhm.
And at the time, you didn't really have too much exposure to NFTs, right?
Yeah, 100%. I like, you know, me and my dad probably knew the same amount about NFTs at that point. And I was honestly a little wary at first because like when the first series of artists, especially big artists like Beeple started getting into it, like all of my friends, like all of my associates, like were like, we got to get on this train. And some of them seemed to have a good idea, but like a lot of it just felt like vaporware. Um, and the more we talked, the more you just fucking sold me on this like really professionally run. Like, I mean, so many of these NFT projects you can tell are run by like maybe two or three people, but like the professionalism and like just the runway that you created, like I started to get really excited really quick.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and appreciate you, obviously, after a few phone calls, kind of, jumping on that vision and really, bringing that to life. Yeah, it's super, super exciting that we're now working together on this. And so I guess, what have you learned in the time that we've been working together on kind of the maybe some of the art design stuff, or whether it's NFTs, or kind of where the future of art is going.
I think what I've learned the most from this is like it's really given me a sense of art direction because like you guys have entrusted me like so much. Like I felt a huge responsibility to come through with like something solid for you guys because, early on I felt really intimidated in a lot of ways because like initially it just felt like you and me were going to be doing something and it was like, okay, I think I can handle this. And then you start telling me like, hey, I just hired on a new team. We've got the branding partners on, and I was just like, this is real. This is happening. And so the responsibility really started to ramp up because I realized like you put together a serious package. Like this thing is going to have legs. The art is different than any other generative avatar. Like I like a lot of them, but like so many people are just focused on something that's like, a little bit goofy or satirical. And the art style was like kind of nailed early on for what a generative NFT looks like. And you were just ready to like do something different. It took a lot of work, but I feel super confident that we have created something that doesn't look like any NFT. And a lot of them can say that, but that doesn't mean something good in a lot of cases because there are a lot of unique NFTs out there that are just garbage. But from the beginning, we aimed to like make something that looked like, a comic book or a graphic novel. And that was going to be so hard to do with all the assets that we had to do. But, you know, you brought on an incredible branding partner. And it was just like so seamless the way we all started to work together, plan out what we had to do. And this mountain, bit by bit has been climbed, and we are getting close to the end here. Yeah, it's been a great experience for me personally. Like just working on such a different project. Like that's what I love about concept art is I never know who's going to reach out, and this has for sure been the most interesting thing that I've done so far in my career.
I appreciate you saying that, Ian. Get all warm and fuzzy inside. No, it's been an absolute pleasure working with you. And yeah, I mean, there's a reason why we put so much trust in you, and the work that you do is incredible. So, in saying that, why don't we reveal another teaser to everyone that's actually Max has just come on and said that the sneak peek's looking great. Awesome work, Ian. So let's give you guys an exclusive sneak peek for those of you that are watching. So far, we've revealed the motorsport group, we've teased the street group, as well as the futuristic group a couple days ago. Um, so, Ian, would you like to do the honors and tell us what the next group is?
I am really excited about this because like the progression that we've been showing is awesome. Like I don't think anybody is expecting like where it's going to go because we're only halfway through the total numbers of groups, but coming after futuristic is space. And this is for sure one of my favorites. Like 100%. Like this is like the first time we started to really get into like mashing up different like expectations of like what the group could be, and like how do you make an astronaut like look cool, look fast. And like we started playing with like heads up displays, like digitized sponsor branding all over, like wild colors where you wouldn't expect it, and like just obviously really freaking cool helmets.
Yeah, no, definitely. I have to say, like, this is probably my favorite group,
Mhm.
and definitely in the mint. If I can't get my hands on one of these, I'm definitely going to be trawling around the secondary market trying to look for one. So yeah, I have to say, you know, I love the entire collection, but these are definitely one of my favorites. And I know Victor here loves the street group still, Mr. Cat Ears and Blazer. He's that kind of guy.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
some call him Basic. Who knows what else he's called? But
What can I say?
I would never
yeah.
do that to Victor. I would never do that.
A
Oh
man of
god.
taste, let's say, a man of
Thank you.
taste.
Yeah, when I put this one together, I knew like when we finally like laid that out, like that was another interesting thing is like how do we define each of the groups so that they feel harmonious? Like it's not just throwing a piece of pizza or a funny hat on them. Like how do we give, our customers like real excitement and expectation about like, wow, I get a tier 5 group. Like this is big. Like they put a lot of thought into this. And I hope that everybody sees like each of these avatars is going to have like a real narrative, a real story behind like who they are, like what their like racing series could be. Um, and I'm just so excited for people to start to create narratives around it because we've already picked out a handful of these that just like seem so interesting. It's like you could make a game around this one avatar. Like it just has so much going on.
Wink wink.
Um, it would be awesome. The Motoverse is a big place, and these guys are going to be flying through it, no doubt.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Super cool. Ian, I have a question I wanted to ask you. So, I'm not great with art, So can you tell us a little bit more with your like design process, like when coming up with avatar in each group? Because I know
Yeah,
that like all this
sure.
design are like designing from scratch, right? So how do you like
Mhm.
basically come up with like such amazing ideas?
Um, Honestly, it came from the proof of concept project that we all signed on to because initially, like, this was a huge undertaking, and before we could even like work together on the full project, we had to make sure that all of our visions aligned. And you guys had a really good sense of self initially. Like sometimes I have clients come to me, it's like, I don't know what I want. And I hate to hear that because it takes so much time to line up everybody, at the starting line to all get everybody to run in the same direction. So you guys had a really strong sense of self. You came to me with some images. And then this board represents kind of my first step. I take what you gave me and then I try to understand what your vision is and then I try to grow from there because I think that a client generally, when they have as strong a sense of self as you did, you know what you want, but I might have a more unique view on how to get there and I might be able to surprise you here and there. So I start with a board like this. I use some of my work, some artists that I look up to, really to nail down the feeling and then also the vibe because early on you knew that you wanted a lot of different groups. It wasn't just going to be, okay, these are all one character with a fire suit and they're going to be a bunch of different colors. That would have been so boring. And so if we move on to I think the next slide, the next really important part was like, these images are small. And so we need to make sure that like you get the idea immediately. Like there's no confusion. Like the first read is going to be super important. So actually, I had my wife take a picture of me in a bunch of different poses with like all my motorcycle gear on because, look at my portfolio. There's not a lot of human figures in there. And so that was another thing I had to overcome is that, this is kind of not a comfort area for me. So I used a lot of reference, a lot of overlays, which is just like basically tracing over and over and over to get things right. Because the tough thing about the human form is that all of our brains are wired to understand what a human looks like. And the second that doesn't line up, you feel like something's off. That's why it's so hard to draw people. And so like this just shows the iterative process and we start to tighten it down from here. We picked some of our favorites and just started to do revisions.
That's
Cool,
yeah. I
cool.
mean, I remember seeing these for the first time, and I was like, "Whoa!" It's like slightly overwhelmed. It's like there's so many different, like, how do you nail down like the perfect pose from kind of the selection that you've given here?
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I was kind of blown away by that, and then you kind of iterated on them even more.
Hmm.
Um,
And so like we knew early on that like this pose has to carry a lot of weight for us. Like we knew that there were going to be so many assets that we needed to show like these the character behind the person wearing these clothes, the world they live in, and so um, also their vibe. Like, are they playful? Are they angry? Are they just super confident? And at the end of the day, that's where we went. We just went for somebody who looked super confident, like a winner, because that's what everybody wants to be. Like, that's what we all aspire to be, is the person standing on the top podium. And so that stance, you can see it here in the top left and the bottom left. That just felt right to us. I mean, initially, I really liked the one in the middle. I fought for that one just because, like, he looks like, I don't know if you guys know Guy Martin, but he's always been like one of my favorite racers. And like, he just can't be bothered. He knows how fast he is. He doesn't care about any of the glamour, but like, that's a really specific kind of vibe to apply to everybody. So we just had to find something that fit everyone's expectations and everyone's aspirations as well. So yeah, that guy right there kind of became our key sketch.
mm. Yeah, that was
Cool,
definitely
cool.
like this was like fine-tuned so many times to get to where we are
Hmm.
now. This is obviously the Guy Martin one that you said.
Hmm.
Um,
And not even just the pose, but like you can see, like it says brush off to the right, but I was even using different brushes that I created in
yeah,
Photoshop to make them look, hand drawn, like not digital. We ended up going with a cleaner look, but it still looks to me very hand drawn. And like you can see, like even the really finalized ones, little issues with the highlights and the lines and the shadows, which to some might come off as a defect, but like you open up your favorite comic book, like if you really look closely, like if a real artist put it together, they're going to have some spots like that. And I tried to keep that in mind as we went through them, because like I want these to feel different than any avatar out there, and I think we nailed it.
yeah, no, 100%. I think the more you've kind of iterated on that, that folded arms pose, I think it's just gotten stronger and stronger, and it's gotten to a point where they all just like you mix and match, and they all just look so good.
Hmm.
And you working so closely with the branding team as well, like you guys have really made these avatars pop, and yeah, can't wait to see them all come to life. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
That was the other tough thing, is once we decided what the pose was, we've created so many assets. Like, you guys have had a really great vision for how complex and real you wanted everything to feel. And we could have easily done 6 helmets, 6 suits, 6 gloves, and thrown a billion colors at it. But I don't think that would be fair for what you were asking in return. Like, with such a big team and such a big vision, I think that would sell the vision short. And we have worked our asses off to create really complex, really thoughtful, well designed avatars that don't look like anything else out there. And I think more than anything, when you see all of them minted, I'm just going to be sitting there for hours, like looking through all the combinations, because like we planned so much to line up in a unique way that doesn't feel like, oh, it's one thing with a bunch of stuff tacked onto it. That's what so many avatars are now. And we took the time to like really design in, like, in perspective, how the gloves and suits and helmets all come together with like weird little Easter eggs, where like some of the helmets, like you can actually see who's underneath there. And like that's not a really I don't know, there's not a lot of those out there. So when you find those things, like there's going to be a lot of little groups within the overall collection that you're going to be like, wow, I fit in really well here. And hopefully everybody will find a group that they can fit in with. Obviously, like there's rarity. Everybody's going to go towards that, one of one, or the one of, a few hundred. But we took the time, even like the lowest tier stuff is going to feel like special at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's something that we've been working towards for the longest time, right? Like,
Hmm.
we really wanted to make if we could make common's not the right word, but if we could make the motorsport group look
Hmm.
like something that is desirable in and among of itself,
Yeah.
then you can kind of scale up infinitely. And that's what we really wanted to focus on, was to kind of give everyone something that, if when they minted it, they would be, happy to
Mhm.
own, and happy to show off and put on their Apple Watch, or hang it up on a
Yeah.
wall, or
A hundred
have
percent.
as your Twitter profile pic. So
Honestly, that was one of the most important things, like in my education, that you guys have taken the time to like walk me through this, like how you create desirability within a group. And like you showed me so many that, like, these are the common tiers, like this is where you start, this is the majority of it. But from the beginning, you were like, we don't want it to feel common though. And so I feel like that was another tough thing that we had to overcome, is like, how do we start at like the best avatar you can imagine? Like that's your base. Now keep going. And that
yeah,
was really tough to like, how do you do better than like your like the coolest one you can draw? That's what everybody gets. Now go up from there. And
yeah,
hopefully everybody feels like, wow, I can't believe it goes this far. Because like the bar that you've set for these, I hope other people appreciate, like, you know, fuck, they really swung for the fences here.
yeah, yeah. I'm just excited for everyone to see them, because I love them.
Hmm.
I know, internally, we've all said how much how cool we think the art is, and
Yeah.
how
I
excited
think
we
it's
all
just a
are.
I think that's exactly it. I think the excitement every time like we come up with a new like series, like when we did the last two and we were like just going back and forth about, should be this, should be that, like when we finally found it and everybody's like, yeah, that just feels right. It's just it's such a hard feeling to describe when you're just a group of people talking about something that doesn't exist. And when you all agree on what it should be, all of a sudden it does exist. And now it's like, what the hell? What just happened? Like, I couldn't have imagined this like yesterday, and now we're here. Let's plan it out. And then once that group gets finished, it's just like, it's an indescribable feeling. That I mean, that's why I love concept art, because like you're creating the future. It doesn't exist, and then you make it, and now it's here. And I'm just excited to share the future with everybody that's like following us.
Yeah, there you go, guys. Victor is there thinking how he's gonna, tease all the other groups that are coming. So
Yes, sir.
I can see that
I'm
smile
so
on his face.
excited. Yeah, a little bit backstory. So when Matt first approached me to join the projects, right, back in October, I was like, okay, show me the art. Like, what are we dealing with? And then he showed me Ian's like, concept art, and then the quick sketch of what the avatar is gonna look like. And I was like, yo, count me in. I'm in. This looks so cool. Like, I freaking love it so much. But yeah, amazing. Thank you, Ian, for answering my question. It's super cool to have like an insight into the mind of like the class artists. So I'm sure the chat has some question for you. So let's open
Hit
it
me.
up. So it's a first question from the Beta Boy. What is it like being an artist, and what are the best hours for working?
It's you got to be flexible for it. It can be tough sometimes. Um, when I got laid off from my first like corporate job, that's when I really wanted to do concept art, and like this was back in like 2009, and I was just like, oh man, I got a severance. Like 10 weeks is basically forever, and so I thought I'd just like start taking classes, figure things out, and like for 2 years I was making like 24K a year, and that was tough. That was just grinding, not really knowing what I wanted to do, who I was. And so over the last, I guess it's like 13 years now, you got to keep pushing forward. You got to find that thing that you really love and just become the best at doing that thing. Um, yeah, so it's very fulfilling, but it takes a lot of work, and it's not guaranteed by any means.
Mhm.
I've only been able to support myself and my family full time doing concept art in the last like 4.5 years. Because you have to be at a certain level where you can like come in and like actually have some sway, like not just at the very bottom, like as an intern or a junior artist, and that it just takes time. In terms of hours, currently I work on Hong Kong hours, so it's a little bit different. 13-hour time difference. It's literally the furthest time difference I think you can have before it starts to go in the other direction.
Yeah.
So I wake up crazy early. I wake up, sometimes at 5, and I get a few hours in before my son gets up. My wife and I both work from home, and we're super lucky to be able to do that because not a lot of people do. So I put in a few hours at 5, and then we get my son together, send him off to daycare, get something to eat, and then I work in like 2-hour shifts until about like 5, 6 o'clock. Then again, son comes home, and then I got to finish up everything that can't get done during the day. But doing that has made me super efficient at what I do. And so if I get all my work done early and everybody's happy, all my clients, I've got a night to myself, which again has taken a long time to do because in the last year I was grinding so hard that like I kind of lost myself. I just became my work, and like I realized that like my hobbies, like other things I had done with like friends, like just were not getting priorities because like as a freelancer and as somebody with a family, like I was so focused on making sure that that stuff was taken care of that I hadn't remembered to just like take care of just living life. So that can be another tough thing when you're a freelancer working for yourself.
That's it. Cool.
Gotta take care of yourself, Ian. Go and ride that bike around the track.
I know. I need some self-care. Yeah, but what do you do during the winter in the Midwest? Like my motorcycle is parked. It is parked hard.
Cool.
That's a shame.
Okay. Another question for you. What's your favorite caffeinated beverage?
It's always coffee. I drink so much coffee. We've got a normal size coffee machine downstairs. I brew 12 cups twice a day. Like, no joke. I mean,
What?
I think
Oh my God. Wait, 12 cup?
Yeah, I don't think it's technically 12 cups. It's got the lines that go up the side. I do 2 full pots of coffee a day. My wife takes a couple here and there, but like it has no effect on me. I could have a cup of coffee at 10 p.m. and go to bed at 11, but I don't know. I feel okay when I don't have it, but it's just like I've gone without it. Nothing changes. I'm less happy. I don't think it has any ill effect on my health, but yeah. I could drink coffee all the way up until 5 p.m. and then drink a beer until 10 and then have one more cup of coffee and then go to sleep. That's an ideal day for me.
That's wild. That's a lot
I
of
don't
coffee.
I don't know what it is about my system. Same thing with food. I don't get bigger or smaller, which sucks when I want to go to the gym and like get in shape. Like nothing will change. I'm just like a stone in the river. So it lasts.
Cool. Another question. Do you have a favorite, I assume, video game? What aspect of the game shocked you and what it felt like?
What's my favorite game and what aspect do I like the
Yeah.
most? For sure, my favorite game right now is Halo Infinite. It's so competitive. It's so well designed. The art team actually just did an AMA at a studio out in Washington where 343 is based. And I just feel so lucky to be a part of that because they are so thoughtful. I mean, I can't think of a bigger IP outside of like Lord of the Rings or The Matrix. Like Halo has been around for 14, 17 years.
Something like that, yeah.
Long time. And they have such a big weight on their shoulders to make sure that they honor the past, like bring the brand into the future. Like it's crazy to be a part of because they put so much thought into making sure that everybody like has a good experience. And yeah, you can feel it when you play the game. It's so seamless. And the fact that it's free to play multiplayer blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like the 16-year-old me that stood in line at GameStop to get Call of Duty at midnight, like for $60, like that person is still inside me and is like, this can't be real. You make money doing this. But working there now, I get it. Like people are paying a lot more money just to like look the way they want to look. Like it's so important like these days to like really be able to tailor your look in the digital space. And like, I mean, in a way, that's kind of what we're all doing with this project. It's like there's an unmet need like for a dope motorsport collection, and like making sure you can look the way you want to look in the digital world is super important.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. And actually, I was just going to ask you a question off the back of that, is what exactly are you doing at Halo?
Right now, I am on the multiplayer team, so I'm working on armor sets. So when you fire it up, right now there's just 3, but there's a lot more coming. Like
Yeah.
obviously, like the big, free to play space is like how you present yourself, and there's so many different ways to do that. The visor colors, the helmets, all the armor stuff. So there's a lot more coming, and I'm churning through that work. Honestly, it's kind of a mind bender to think that I was working on this project with you guys, and it set me up really well, honestly, to be designing helmets for Master Chief now, because I've been doing it for months with you guys, which is just like nuts, because like I can hit the ground running, designing like really unique pieces that like have background to them. Like that's always been my favorite thing. Like I think that's why Misfit Racers talk to a lot of people, because it's like it's not just like a silly van with a paint job. Like I put stickers on it that like show like where the racetrack that they go to is. Scuff it up because like the guy drives it home at the end of the day. Um, it's just like taking the time to show narrative and story in a visual way that's like kind of unexpected. Like you're basically writing a book, but by drawing. Like you can put as much or as little character into your art as you have the imagination to at the end of the day. So you guys have given me a great platform, and it really set me up well to be designing armor sets for Halo, which is honestly a dream come true.
Man, that still blows my mind. Like, I need to jump on that battle pass and get grinding on that game so I can.
You need to get the battle pass for real.
I know.
Honestly, the other cool thing is that when you become a 343 employee, you get like some perks in game. And so I've told you guys, but like one of the
Yep.
things you get to do is you have this blue flame that surrounds your helmet, and only employees of 343 have it. So like when you win the match and all your characters are like standing up there, all 4 of you, there's just this blue flame coming out, and it's such a
Damn.
cool
That's so
feeling.
cool. That's so cool.
It's
Oh man,
nuts.
that's so exciting to. Oh, that's. Man, I love Halo. Yeah, I don't know what else to
It's
say,
so
man. Like,
much fun.
love Halo. Couple more questions.
Uh,
Got one on
any
Twitch.
questions from Twitch? Yeah.
Yeah.
Get away.
So, Archibald has asked, what NFT collection would you like to have? What NFT would you like to have in your collection, and whose NFT do you like the most?
Honestly, the
Outside of
artist
Corp Squad.
outside Stark's fun. Honestly, I do want that space one. That was one that I think I drew from scratch, that you showed, not one of the generative ones. And I hope that one looks like that, because that's the one that I want. But the artist that made me start thinking like, this is like a real thing. Like obviously everybody knows Beeple, but Ben Morrow's series, I forget who he did it with, but like Ben Morrow is also working on Halo currently. And when I saw his series, I was just like, holy shit, this is real. Like he's an amazing, I mean, he does what I do. Like he does hard surface designs, but he's also like an amazing sculptor. He does insane characters. And like his series premiered like really, really well too. Like they hyped it really well. He didn't over deliver. Like it was not a big series. I think it was maybe a few dozen NFTs based on his work, and like they were just beautiful. I was just like, if I could do something like that, I would get into the space, because like initially it just seemed like everybody was having FOMO about it. And so I didn't have the time to figure it out. And so I just felt really lucky that you guys reached out, because like not only has this been a great project for me personally, but like it's been a great education to the space. And really understanding like that if you take the time, like these generative avatars can have value outside of, hey, look which one I have. And I
Yeah.
think that you guys building the roadmap where these avatars are going to have like a real utility within the motorverse is going to be big. Like people aren't going to want to like just make a quick buck. They're going to want to sit on it and be like, this is my ticket to a pretty fun party that, I really have a lot of friends in and enjoy like spending time with.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that's I mean that's what we're here for, and that's exactly, that's our mission over the next obviously delivering everything we can in the short term, but moving on towards the next kind of 2, 3, 5 years. That's exactly kind of what we want to build out and make sure
Mhm.
that you guys are holding something that, that is like you said, a ticket to a really fun party, and a ticket to, let's call it a, a somewhat Fast and Furious kind of
Mhm.
metaverse. Let's call it. So
You know what else is crazy is that it's gonna last for a really long time. Like these assets, like, I mean, if you had a sketchbook, you could lose that. But like, not to be too weird about it, but like generations of people are gonna be able to find these things that we created
yeah.
a long time down the road. Whether it's in like some museum of humanity that's like left over when there's only a couple of us left, or like, they were something that was created at like the close to the ground floor, like this new economy that cropped up and is probably going to be the dominant economy in like another couple of decades.
Yeah, no, it's super cool, and it's really like it's a cultural stamp in time, right? Like it's just,
Hmm.
and that's I think the biggest power of NFTs right now is how they're able to shape, our popular culture. If you look at what the Bored Apes have done, is just been incredible. Obviously first started with the wave of CryptoPunks, but the Bored Apes have just taken that to an insane level,
Hmm.
which is super cool to see. So I hope we can stamp our little cultural moment in time, and see where this all takes us, because we're in it for the long haul, that's for sure. So I guess we probably have time for one last question, from Seon. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but what does an artist pay attention to when looking at an NFT collection? On the complexity of their execution, or all the same on the visual effect?
I mean, it goes to what we've been talking about the whole time. It's like, what is the narrative? My first read on a lot of NFTs is like, oh, they saw that generative avatars were a thing and they did their own version. And I get so tired of that. I think as an artist, I get bored really easily if I see somebody giving, um, an intermediate level of effort, um, because it just feels like a cash grab. As an artist, I want to see somebody with a vision that is choosing to use this as the medium. Cool, fine, but like, is your vision outside of selling something? Because at that point, like, you're not any different than anyone else. So whether it's someone who's extra clever, or someone who's extra talented with line work, or someone who just has, um, a really clear idea that's unique and also, thoughtful, because like I said early on, like, it's easy to be unique and be bad. um, I think that that's probably the biggest downfall to everyone having a voice now. It's like, not everyone should have a voice, because not everyone has, something worthwhile saying. And I don't mean that in like a greater sense. Like,
Yeah.
obviously every individual should have a voice, but like, if you're trying to get into a space where you're trying to like sell an idea, like, not all ideas have the same weight. And like, that's really what this comes down to, because there are so many people seeing the opportunity here that it's going to feel really diluted for a long time. And I think the cream is just going to rise to the top if the right amount of effort and the right intention goes into it. Um, and that's why I really don't have any like misgivings about what we've created, because you have really shepherded in something special. And we're getting close to finishing the art, and I just can't wait to see how it gets rolled out.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait to reveal the last two, what are we calling them? Squads, tribes. Because
I'm so proud of those ones.
they're incredible, man. They're
Amazing,
honestly like
amazing.
blow my mind. There are a bunch more questions, but we're getting close to the hour. Maybe one final one. I guess that's probably directed to us, Vic. It's our if we're planning to collab with clothing brands. And I think I kind of mentioned this in the first AMA, and I guess the short answer is yes. We are currently planning on designing and releasing our first line, which will range across different, whether it's hoodies or t-shirts or hats or not just merchandise, let's say, but we really want them as kind of fashion items as well, that you would wear, that you would definitely wear out, not just in a in a whether it's like an NFT meetup or something like that. So we really want them to be very special, fashion pieces that you'd be proud to wear, proud to own, proud to wear. So we're currently working on that, and yeah, we've began very high level discussions with a couple brands, that will hopefully be kind of fleshing out a little bit more as we go.
There,
Um,
there are actually a couple more questions in the chat. Do we have time for those, or?
Go on, let's do one last one.
Okay, are you planning to create a metaverse, or is it going to be a racetrack?
I mean, look, we
Oh
already
man,
created it right here.
we're in the motiverse.
Yeah.
We're there, and this is
Yeah.
something that Ian's so beautifully put together.
That's our space. That's where we all live.
Exactly,
I could
exactly.
use a fill up at the Motorverse gas station. I'm sure they have coffee.
Yeah.
I
Wait,
mean,
one more quick question
they probably have
for you,
really good
Matt.
coffee. Yo,
One more quick question. Someone asked this question twice, so I want to make sure we answer his question. Hello, I wanted to ask, how do you plan to develop the project itself after the release? 2 to 3 years? Is there a specific plan, or are there only general direction?
um, so we have a target. We have quite a specific target that we want to hit in the next 2 years. Everything beyond that, it's given the space that we're in, it moves at such a rate of knots that it's very difficult to really project anywhere really further than 2 to 3 years. So we have a 2-year goal, and again, I've been saying this a few times in on on Discord. A lot of what we'll be building out, exactly what we'll be building out, we will reveal in phase 3, alongside what we've called race in the roadmap. So all I can say is the company is called Motiverse for a reason. This piece of art that we're all sitting in exists for a reason, and I think that's something that you guys can all look forward to, as this project develops. And we are definitely standing on the shoulders of giants. We have the support of Animoca, we have the support of Rev, and I think that will give us the foundation to really be able to build something, um, you know, to really build something on top of what we're planning. And I think a few people have kind of asked this, like what the exact association is with Animoca and Rev, and we're going to be announcing some more stuff in the next week or so, to kind of outline exactly what that looks like. But they are very much, we are not building stuff in house. We're not building stuff, in and around kind of what Rev, and Animoca are building directly. We are a separate team, separate company, that are partnered with Animoca and Rev to really build our vision. And we're kind of, putting together some key parties and key partners to be able to do that. So I guess to a long answer to a relatively simple question. Well, not really simple, but a short question. We are in the Motiverse, and there is going to be something coming.
Some people just joined the stream
Oh
and
no!
they just pop more questions.
Oh no!
Um, here's a good
Um,
one. Do you guys have the plans to release token for governance purposes?
that is a good question. That is a question that I I can't directly answer at this point. Like I mentioned, we are partnered with Rev. And Rev is our kind of main token partner. But moving forward, never say never. And again, everything we release, you guys will be the first to hear. And so I can't directly answer that question, just yet, but yeah. like someone just frantic just said, trust the process.
Yeah.
Definitely trust the process, because we have a lot of stuff to reveal in the next couple weeks, as and when we really flesh them out and have the ideas kind of clear and confirmed and locked in, and green lit by everyone involved. So
Cool,
And
cool,
honestly,
cool.
Matt, from somebody who's like inside and outside, like I've been brought into this like relatively new, like seeing these things come up and like all the work that you're doing behind the scenes, like you guys are being so transparent with all the complexity that comes into it. And I know that's not easy. So, I mean, I don't know if you guys hear it enough, but I really appreciate like being able to see how the sausage gets made because this is so complex and you guys have put so much effort into it. And I think that people ask a lot of questions because they're excited and they're curious, but you can't roll something out until it's ready to, start up. So, I mean, I just
yeah.
really appreciate that.
No, thanks, Ian. Thanks for saying that.
Thanks,
And
Ian.
yeah, I've never seen a sausage being made, but that would definitely be an interesting one. Um, but yeah, I mean, again, a big reason why we aren't able to share too much right now is we really don't want to overpromise. We don't want to say there's this coming, there's this coming, there's going to be a game, there's going to be a metaverse, there's going to be all this sort of stuff,
Totally.
and we get to the point where we realize, well, actually we either under deliver and we
Mhm.
deliver a shitty product, or we just scrap the idea entirely. So we really want to be confident and certain that we're going to be able to deliver something and deliver it to a quality that reflects everything we're doing. So that's kind of why we're being a little tentative on revealing exactly what our big plans are, because we don't want you guys to get too excited, and for us to let you down. So we really want to
Yeah.
deliver. I know Ian and the brand team have worked together, tirelessly, and they put so much effort into delivering that promise, for the art. So it's our job, on the back end to deliver, on everything else, be it fashion, events, or the motiverse. So
Mhm.
Okay. One last question for Ian before we end the stream. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure.
And just
No, no, sure.
I want I want to answer every question. So, what's the main difference between working for an NFT blockchain organization versus other company where you have worked in the past?
The deliverables are relatively similar. We defined a world. We need to create assets that exist in it. That's the same whether it's a Netflix series or something for MGM, or something for 343. What is specific to NFTs are who the final audience is and like what their intentions with the NFT are. And I think that really drove this project for me is, the Matt and Victor's vision for who the purchasers of these NFTs are going to be or who we want them to be, like the community we want to create. And so that became really the defining factor. And that's where I think the character comes from because if it was a community of people who just wanted, shiny things, like we could have done like chrome this and gold that, but like, a lot of people are doing that and it didn't feel special and it didn't feel like your vision. So I think the really unique thing is just the vision that's had for NFTs and like understanding who the people are because like it's a much bigger group. I think that's probably another aspect of it is, I'm usually only trying to appeal to the client and then, that's about it. But I'm trying to appeal to everybody that's going to be possibly interested in these things. And, we're making a lot of them. So we need to appeal to a pretty diverse group of people. And that takes a lot of work.
awesome.
Awesome, awesome.
Thanks for thanks. I mean, Ian, thanks so much for being here today. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. I know there's a lot of excitement, from the community. Everyone's. I feel like we should be playing, the Halo soundtrack as a send off. I think that's only appropriate. But
Oh,
unfortunately, we
I
might
love
get
that
a
song.
what
I
is
love
it?
that
What is
song
it?
so much.
Yeah, we could probably sing it, because if we actually play it, we'd probably get a what is it? DMCA, whatever it is.
yeah, yeah.
But awesome, guys.
Ooh,
Vic.
yeah. So I have a couple of announcements that I would like to make. First of all, thank you for everyone who came to the AMA. Really appreciate the support. And then once again, just like the first AMA, we are gonna whitelist everyone who is currently attending our AMA, which I will literally be taking a snapshot right now. Okay, done. Matt, can you take a snapshot of the Twitch chat?
Oh, hang on. Yeah, don't Twitch chat. Don't leave. Let me
Yeah.
just pull that up real quick. Hang on. Sorry, guys. That's my fault. I'm coming. I'm nearly done.
No worries. And for those who are already whitelisted and still attend the AMA, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for the supporting. Another news is we broke 3,000 member last night. Is it last night or just
That's
yesterday? Awesome. Yeah. So I'm super happy as a community manager. I'm just watching the community grow. It just brings a tear to my eyes. So personally,
He's a
I
very
will
emotional
host.
guy.
Yeah, whatever. So I'll be hosting a giveaway. I will be personally giving away one NFT. So I will make another channel for the NFT giveaway, and then just go enter giveaway, and then whoever the winner is, I will collect your wallet address, and once the NFT, the Tour Squad NFT is revealed, I will send the NFT to your wallet. Just one
That's
though. Just
wild,
one.
man. What a
Just one.
generous
Out
guy.
of my
What a
pocket.
generous guy.
Because I love you guys.
What a nice guy. Well, thank you, Vic. And I believe the hat giveaway is ended. So congrats to
Yeah.
all the winners of these hats that we just took delivery of. So you guys
What
will
do
be
I have
getting
to do
some.
to get a hat? My logo doesn't line up with yours.
Oh, Spiderman.
If you draw me a 101, I'll send you 10 tomorrow.
Okay, that's fair.
FedEx next day shipping.
That's fair.
Vic will personally fly to the US, suffer 3 weeks quarantine in Hong Kong just to hand deliver you the hats.
You got it, Vic. That's no problem.
Okay. So should we call it?
Let's call it. Everyone, thank you so much. Ian, again,
Thank you.
A pleasure.
Yeah, thank you guys. This is always fun.
Sounds good. And yeah, see everyone in the next AMA.
Cool.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Thank you. Have a good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Take care.